It was an ordinary weekend morning, with sunlight streaming through the gaps in the curtains. Emily and I woke up as usual, enjoying a day without any special plans. She mentioned doing some house chores, and then we planned to go for a walk to enjoy the beautiful weather. Everything seemed normal in the morning. Emily prepared breakfast, and we talked about our plans for the upcoming week. However, when I came out of the shower, Emily was no longer in the house. I thought she might have just stepped out to take out the trash or gone to the garden. A few minutes later, I noticed her phone, wallet, and car keys were still at home. A sense of unease crept over me. She wouldn't leave without those things. My heart started pounding as I searched every corner of the house for her. About an hour later, my anxiety turned into fear. Where could she have gone? Why didn't she tell me? I began calling her friends and family, asking if they had seen her, but no one had. Her friends also said they hadn't received any messages from her. Next, I decided to go out and search for her. I walked along her usual route, but found nothing out of the ordinary. I checked the park, the supermarket, even her favorite coffee shop, but there was no sign of her. Every minute felt like an eternity, and the fear hammered at my heart. Terrifying possibilities flashed through my mind. Had she met with an accident, or was she kidnapped? As time ticked by and dusk fell, my mood grew darker. I returned home and began searching thoroughly for any clues she might have left behind. I checked her desk, her computer, even her wardrobe, but found nothing. Her disappearance was like a gust of wind, leaving no trace. I collapsed on the sofa, my palms sweaty, my mind racing with thoughts of where she could be. I decided to call the police, even though I knew they wouldn't take immediate action within the first 24 hours. The operator asked me a series of questions and recorded my description, assuring me they would have someone contact me soon. Calling the police did not ease my panic. Instead, the waiting, facing the unknown, made my anxiety grow heavier. I sat in the living room, staring at the door, hoping that any second Emily would walk in and tell me it was all a misunderstanding. But as time passed, the door remained closed. I decided to recheck our home, hoping to find any overlooked details. I went back to the bedroom, checking her nightstand and drawers, even opening her journal. The journal contained her recent thoughts and some daily events, but nothing indicating she had planned to leave. Her last entry was from the previous night, about a movie we watched together, with no sign of anything unusual. I suddenly thought of her phone. Perhaps it held the answers we needed. I picked it up, unlocked it, and began checking her call logs and messages. Everything seemed normal. Recent calls and messages were with me or her friends. I also checked her social media accounts, looking for any clues. Her recent posts were all regular, sharing daily life and interactions with friends. My panic intensified, and I started contacting more people. Our mutual friends, her colleagues, even some old classmates. I called everyone, hoping they knew something. But everyone gave me the same answer. They hadn't seen her or knew her whereabouts. The day had passed, and Emily's disappearance became even more mysterious. I felt helpless and alone, filled with worry for her safety. I began doubting myself, wondering if I had missed anything, if there were signs I had overlooked. As I was deep in thought, my phone suddenly rang. I quickly answered. It was the police returning my call. They told me they had started the investigation but also advised me to stay calm and provide as much information as possible. I thanked them, but my panic didn't subside. Just when I was at my wit's end, my phone rang again. This time, it was an unfamiliar number. I hesitated but answered the call. The person on the other end was a man who introduced himself as one of Emily's colleagues, saying he had found something strange in the company parking lot. I rushed to the company parking lot. There, I met Emily's colleague, who showed me some items scattered near her car. They seemed to be her belongings. As I approached, I recognized several items Emily frequently used, like her notebook and a handkerchief. My heart sank. These items confirmed her disappearance was not ordinary. I immediately called the police, informing them of the new discovery. They arrived quickly, began examining and collecting evidence. They asked me several questions about Emily, and then took the scattered items for further examination. While the police were busy, my phone rang again. This time, it was a call with no caller ID. I answered, but the person on the other end said nothing. I kept asking, "Who are you? Do you know where Emily is?" but got no response. Then the call abruptly ended. My mind began to spiral with thoughts. Was this the kidnapper, or was it Emily trying to contact me? This mysterious call added to my anxiety. I reported it to the police, who logged the information and advised me to stay vigilant. They suggested I keep the call going as long as possible if it happened again, to help trace the call. As night fell, I felt unprecedented exhaustion and helplessness. Emily had been missing for over 12 hours, and every minute felt like a century. I began questioning myself, wondering if there was something I hadn't thought of or any clue I had missed. Suddenly, I remembered our home security cameras. Perhaps they had captured something. I quickly went home and checked the surveillance footage. Reviewing the morning's footage, I saw Emily leave the house while I was in the shower. But the way she left seemed strange. She appeared to be in a hurry, without taking anything. Even stranger, she got into a car I had never seen before. I immediately informed the police of my discovery. They retrieved the surveillance footage and told me they would trace the car as soon as possible. While I had finally found some clues, my heart remained heavy. Where had Emily gone, and why did she leave so suddenly? 24 hours had passed, and there was still no sign of Emily. I felt like I was on the verge of breaking down. Just when I was about to lose hope, the police called. They had found the car and uncovered some new clues. I rushed to the police station, my heart filled with a mixture of fear and hope. The police informed me that the car was a rental, with the renter using a fake name. Even more unsettling, they found some of Emily's belongings in the car, including her necklace and watch. What does this mean? Where is she? I asked, almost losing control. We are still investigating, but these items suggest she was in the car, the officer responded calmly. We will do everything we can to find her. At that moment, my phone rang again. This time it was a number with caller ID, so I quickly answered. The voice on the other end was a woman's, sounding very anxious. Are you Emily's husband? She asked. Yes. Do you know where she is? I asked eagerly. I can't say much, but she is in danger. Contact the police immediately. The call abruptly ended. I informed the police of this new information, and they immediately started tracing the call. This call left me feeling a mix of despair and hope. Emily was clearly in danger, but at least we knew she was alive. Hours later, the police informed me that they had traced the call to an abandoned warehouse in the suburbs. I rushed to the location, praying for Emily's safety. When we arrived at the warehouse, we found the door locked. The police broke it down, and inside was pitch dark. I followed them, my heart pounding so hard, it nearly stopped. Emily! Are you here? I called out loudly. Suddenly, a faint response came from a corner. John, is that you? It was Emily's voice. We ran over and found Emily tied to a chair, pale but unharmed. We quickly untied her and got her out of there. Oh my God, Emily, are you okay? I hugged her tightly, tears streaming down my face. I don't know what happened. I remember someone knocking on the door in the morning. When I opened it, I blacked out, Emily said weakly. The police began searching the warehouse for more clues, but so far, we still didn't know who had kidnapped her or why. After rescuing Emily, we immediately took her to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said she was just mildly shocked and fatigued, with no serious injuries. This was a relief, but my mind was still full of questions. Who kidnapped her, and why? At the hospital, the police conducted a detailed interview with Emily. She recalled some details. Although they were vague, they were helpful for the investigation. She remembered the kidnapper wearing a mask and speaking in a low voice. She was tied up in the warehouse, and while the kidnapper did not harm her, they constantly threatened her not to try to escape. Why would they kidnap you? Did they mention any reason? I asked. They said it was to make my husband pay, but they didn't specify what for, Emily replied, still shaken. The police began investigating our backgrounds, hoping to find some clues. They discovered that I had recently been promoted at work, which might have caused some resentment. But this was just speculation, with no solid evidence. In the following days, Emily and I tried to return to normal life, but the shadow of that experience still loomed over us. We decided to enhance our home security and installed more surveillance cameras around the house. As time passed, the police investigation made some progress. They identified a few suspicious individuals who might be connected to the kidnapping. However, the evidence was not enough to make any arrests. One evening, Emily and I sat on the sofa, reflecting on the terrifying ordeal. We knew that this event had tested our relationship and made us appreciate each other even more. "John, I know you've been very worried about me during this time, but I want you to know that I'm really grateful you've been by my side," Emily said softly. "Emily, I was so afraid of losing you. This incident made me realize that we can't take each day for granted. We should cherish each other more," I said, holding her hand tightly. As time went by, our lives gradually returned to normal, but we both knew that the experience would forever remain in our memories. We decided to start anew, cherishing every ordinary day, knowing that happiness is hard-won. Dear viewers, if you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share. We will continue to bring you more captivating stories. Thank you for your support.